How's everything going today, guys? My name is Copycat, and welcome to yet another video featuring glitches from the Super Mario Bros. Franchise. We're specifically going to focus on ones that involve bosses in the boss fight areas across each and every entry of the series. Again, like always, my goal is to showcase glitches you hopefully have never seen before, as well as ones that are easy enough for you at home to try. Of course, explaining how they're done, and what exactly they do to your gameplay. Oh yeah, before we get started, I hope you all subscribe to my channel, hitting that bell to stay notified when I upload new videos. The very first game to be released is Super Mario Bros. That came out for the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1985. Having one boss-related glitch that can break things in some pretty cool ways, in the one where you can beat Bowser by touching the axe, but take damage from him at the exact same time. If you do this in small Mario form, then you will complete the castle stage, but die, needing to try again, which is hilarious. Even if you have 0 lives, as no game over is forced, and instead Toad just sort of stands there, saying that the princess is in another castle, appearing to seem confused about what's going on. Now, if you pull this off but in Super Mario form, Mario will momentarily flash but stay in that state, where here things get real glitched up as this can be carried on to the next level. As you can see in this state, taking any damage at all will cause you to instantly die, which is definitely a strange sight, but things can be taken even further if you do all of this while powered up with a Fire Flower, where you'll now be stuck in small Mario form, so when you pick up power-ups, you won't change sizes. If you start to shoot fireballs, then you go through an animation where you actually grow in size for a split second, and then revert to your smaller form. Something I thought I'd never see in my life, but something I absolutely love and can't get enough of. The next game to come out in the franchise on the NES, at least in Western markets, is Super Mario Bros. 2 in 1988, having 2 glitches I want to look at, starting with a way you can get stuck in the Claw Grips boss fight area. This takes place at the end of World 5, and can happen once you defeat this crab-like being, where you then can slide and duck underneath the rock area, and actually get stuck there if you did things right. Because there's no timer in this game, you'll actually have to restart your system, which is a pain, as in the original trilogy you had no way of saving, meaning you had to begin things all the way over again at World 1, Level 1. The other is a glitch that can happen during the final boss fight of the game against Wart in World 7 too, being a method to actually get stuck in that final arena, so you have no way of completing it. This is done if you kill Wart from far enough left on the screen, so that the final door spawns in a spot that you can't get to, needing to use a character like Peach to pull this off, as you have to quickly float and scroll off screen. I couldn't imagine if you found this out by accident, being so excited you're about to complete this relatively tough experience, just to learn that you need to start all the way from the beginning again. The last to come out in the original NES trilogy is Super Mario Bros. 3, that wasn't released in North America in 1990, containing a handful of boss-related glitches I think we should look at, starting with a way to cause a Boom Boom to leave its fight, leaving things uncompletable. This can only be done in Boom Boom fights where the mini-boss has wings, with the easiest being the second fortress of World 5, with all you needing to do is fly above the foe and wait until it attacks you from below, where you know you did it right if it flies off screen, never to be seen again. Thankfully, because this game has a timer, you just need to wait for it to run out and reset things, not needing to turn off your system, which at least is a bit of a relief. The other 2 glitches all involve Bowser in some way, shape, or form, with the first being super simple, where if you just duck during the final battle, he can't damage you at all. Apparently the developers didn't program for Bowser's bottom half to be the part that hurts you, so you can use this to your advantage through the entire fight and just wait for the boss to break the floor, killing himself, which is just jokes. The final is the way to cause Bowser to be unable to breathe any fire at you. Although, this is extremely difficult to pull off, so bear with me as I have to go through it step by step. First, you need to enter Bowser's castle equipped with a P-Wing, and bring it all the way to the fight without losing it, which is very hard. Now, there are a few sections of the stage where you can actually force Mario through the wall to the other side, pretty simply by just duck flying into them and then trying to force your way through by jumping. But of course, you could also just use the Switch's rerun feature, which will save you a lot of time and pain. Now, once you enter this door to the final arena, immediately fly up, traveling over the wall to the left, and land on this other doorway, ensuring that you don't travel too far to the left or also trigger Bowser. Next, fly back to the first room and land, ensuring that King Koopa appears now, where in doing this right, you'll see that he'll try to spit out fire, but he can't, making it look like he's sort of dry heaving, which is just really awkward. The first handheld game to be released in the series is Super Mario Land that came out for the Game Boy in 1989. Having a couple glitches you can pull off in the very first version of the game, beginning with a way to walk through King Totomesu. All you need to do is get to this fight and quickly spam move back and forth, which for some reason will mess things up, where you'll see now that the boss walks by you off screen, becoming completely intangible. Odd, but really in the end it doesn't help you too much, as this boss is pretty simple to beat, so this feels somewhat unnecessary. The second involves a Hoi of World 3's Muda Kingdom, where if you stand right here as the rock being throws the Ganchins, then you'll collect coins instead of taking damage as you normally would. Now again, this apparently only works in the 1.0 version of the game, most likely Japanese only cartridges, meaning these will not occur in the Nintendo Switch Online version. So unfortunately, if that's the only copy you have, these won't work for you. Next to be released is Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System in 1991, having a few glitches you can do with select Koopalings, starting with Iggy of World 1. Here, you can mess with the fireballs he produces from his head by simply just sliding into them, where you can see when they get extinguished, they turn into this weird devil-looking thing with horns. I'm going to assume the developers just never thought anyone would try this, so they didn't properly animate the fireball, and the end result is just this. The second can be done with Morton Koopa Jr., found in the castle at the end of Donut Plains, where you can defeat this boss in one stomp if you do something specific. All this is shooting it twice with a fire flower, then your initial first stomp should just defeat him. Something that's actually used by speedrunners, as it's easy with no downside. Yeah, it's a bit underwhelming, but a glitch nonetheless. And it's really something that shouldn't happen, but for some reason it does, so you can use it to your advantage. The second of the handheld entries to come out, Super Mario Land 2: The 6 Golden Coins, was also released for the Game Boy, but here in 1992. Having a combination of glitches you can pull off that allows you to explore the boss fight area in some interesting ways. First, you have to perform the bubble glitch by pausing and exiting the hippo stage on the very same frame that you touch the bubble, where if you did it right, you'll then be able to enter any other stage with said bubble, although with it looking a bit weird. This is an extremely hard glitch to do, as you aren't sure you did it correctly until you enter the next stage. So utilizing the Switch's rewind feature is key, otherwise you'd have to repeat this over and over, which could take ages. Once you're sure you have it, you just have to enter the final castle as Fireflower Mario, and get to the point where the Piranha Plant statues are shooting fireballs at you. Once you're on the screen, start to backtrack, and around this point you need to fire your own balls, which should then glitch you upwards and allow you to explore out of bounds, even being able to get through this wall to the final Wario fight earlier than intended. Now if you go even higher, you'll then reach this glitched out room featuring Wario and a bunch of sprites that don't make much sense. Cool, huh? The very first game based within the 3D realm is Super Mario 64 for the N64, where there's tons of glitches involving Bowser and his boss fights, so many of which that I'm just going to quickly list them all off and how they can be performed. These include having him jump off the stage by placing yourself right near the edge so he'll lunge towards you and fall into the void, being able to warp quickly to your death by grabbing the big bad's tail while it's slightly over the void, being able to destroy all the mines so you have absolutely no way of winning, needing to die to restart the fight, being able to make the King Koopa invisible by grabbing him while he's teleporting, which can happen during the second fight in the Fire Sea, making him a zombie by throwing him into the edge of a mine for his third hit so that he flies into the void then miraculously springs back to life as if nothing happened, and causing him to go flying by grabbing him just as he lands back on the stage and flinging him at the closest mine you can. There are probably plenty of others involving Bowser that I left out that maybe I didn't know about, so if that is the case, then please let me know in the comments below. The next game to come out, also in the 3D realm, is Super Mario Sunshine for the Nintendo GameCube, having a pair of glitches that both involve being able to skip certain cutscenes during the Mecha Bowser boss battle of Pinna Park. The first that can be bypassed is the one that actually introduces this menacing foe, where when you're chasing Shadow Mario, you need to spray the ground here, then quickly slide on your belly directly between these two pillars, and then quickly press start and exit the course. If done right, you won't actually leave, and instead will be seen talking to the old man, allowing you to skip the first relatively long cutscene that's definitely helpful in speedruns. The other happens at the very end of the fight, where you're able to skip the destruction of the mech and the revelation of Bowser Jr. being Shadow Mario. To do this, you again have to pause and exit the stage, but here just as the mech Bowser is about to explode. Well, you'll just get spawned back into Pinna Park with the Shine Sprite literally chilling right in front of you. Nintendo would eventually return the series to its 2D roots with the release of New Super Mario Bros. For the dual-screen system, having one glitch that makes the Lack of Thunder Battle of World 7 much easier, where you can cause this boss to completely freeze up, leaving it open to attacks. For this to happen, you have to be powered up with a blue shell and use its dashing ability on the Lack of Thunder, hitting it twice before it rises up to the air. You know you did it right if he becomes bricked up and is left open for easy attacks. Up next is the Space-based Super Mario Galaxy Wii entry that came out for the system in 2007, containing a few skips that allow you to get to certain boss fights much quicker than intended, starting with a way to ignore the launch star on your way to the Mega Leg fight if you're playing as Luigi. Usually you'd have to skillfully guide a bullet bill to the cage it's enclosed in so that you can break it and expose the launcher. If you instead triple jump off the cage then quickly spin, you'll get sucked up by the Mega Leg's planet's gravity and slowly fall to that direction. Here you'll see if you don't properly trigger the cutscene, then the boss will be inactive and you'll be unable to collect the star until you do so. Now, in writing this video, I learned that it can actually be done as Mario, but if you're in 2-player mode, using the Co-Star Super Jump, which oddly is allowed in speedruns. Even though I'm a bit skeptical whether this technique should be allowed, but it is for some reason. As you can see, you can literally do this immediately as you land in the level, as that Co-Star Super Jump really does let you get a lot higher in the air than usual, so at least take advantage where you can. The second, that also involves Luigi, can be done on the stairway that leads to the final fight of the game against Bowser in his Galaxy Reactor Galaxy. Needing to pull off some serious parkour to do so, but it leads to a very interesting state. First, you need to long jump once you reach this specific tile on the floor, then spin sort of towards the void, but pressing back at the last minute to ensure Luigi can wall jump off the side of the ledge of the staircase. Next, keep moving forward and land back on the staircase, where if you did it correctly, you'll skip the cutscene and will be able to explore this area that Bowser and Bowser Jr. are occupying. Unfortunately, not really being able to do anything here, so if you do want to move forward, you have to go back and trigger the cutscene. The second installment of the new Super Mario Bros. Sub-series came out for the Wii in 2009, having one really easy and one sort of hard glitch that's all related to bosses, beginning with the simple one where you can delay the results of certain Koopaling fights. This can be done in any area where the bosses have voids within their arenas, with the best example of this being the Larry fight of the World 1 Fortress, where if you bonk off him for the third hit, then continuously wall jump in the voided area, things won't end. Of course, that third hit is supposed to defeat this boss, but for some reason won't, and the strange state will continue for as long as you're jumping. The second is a speedrunning strategy that saves several vital seconds during the platforming section of the final fight against Bowser, needing to enter this castle equipped with a propeller shroom and maintain it up until this point. This initial part is tricky, as you have to wait until the 6th note of the theme is played, and then jump exactly here towards the King Koopa, where he will spit out a fireball and break a very important section of the stage away. You then can force Mario to clip through this broken part, and if you continuously jump, at least 6 times, then you'll glitch to the top of the stage where you can just run forward, bypassing needing to wait for Bowser to break away the rest of the area. Honestly, I don't know how people figure stuff like this out, but I'm glad they do as I can showcase it for you guys to see. The second of the space-based sub-series came off the Wii in 2010, where, believe it or not, there's actually a way to bring your dino buddy Yoshi into the final Bowser fight and actually complete it with his help. Now, Yoshi does appear in this level, so you just have to make it to this pole and pull off the infinite flutter exploit to get him up to the platform above. This can be difficult to get used to, as you have to press A and hold it to flutter, and then release it at your apex and hold Z and C to crouch. Then you have to quickly release Z/Z and flutter again holding A while repeating the process over and over and over until you reach the top. This takes tons of practice, so I suggest just going to Starship Mario and getting Yoshi and just trying over and over until you master it. Once you do get there, you'll see that the developers didn't anticipate this being a thing, as Mario and Yoshi become messed up in this cutscene. But things thankfully function normally past this point. To keep Yoshi alive, you do have to place him in the right spots, as when you use your ground pound towards Bowser, he could fall off and you could lose him. Where also spinning does help, as it puts you immediately back on his back, so doing this is the best way to complete everything with his help, sort of. Nintendo would perfectly blend aspects of Mustachioed Heroes 2D and 3D realms with Super Mario 3D Land for the 3DS. Having an easy to pull off softlock glitch that can happen during the very first Bowser battle of World 1. What you have to do is be equipped with the Super Leaf power-up and jump from this platform across the lava and flutter towards the King Koopa, landing by him very close to the switch. Next, you have to destroy the switch with Bowser sort of off screen, and if you did it right, the game won't know exactly where he is and think that you didn't complete anything, softlocking your experience where you need to restart your software to fix it. The final installment of the new Super Mario Bros. Sub-series first came out on the Wii U, then was later released in deluxe version on the Switch, where there's a glitch that makes Kamek completely disappear during their boss fight in the final tower of the Merengue Clouds world. Here, you need to be playing the Wii U version in the 2-player boost mode, having the person controlling the gamepad put down boost blocks in the middle of the arena. Next, just as Kamek passes by one of those blocks, bonk it and destroy it as player 1, where if you did it right, Kamek will fall off screen and won't return, meaning the fight will be glitched out where you have to die, restart things, or just wait until the time runs out. Up next is the Super Mario 3D World title, which also was initially released for the Wii U, then was also re-released later on the Switch. Having one speedrunning glitch where you can skip the cutscene where Bowser transforms into Meowser, which happens in the final fight during the Great Tower of Bowser Land World stage. Now, you need to be playing on the Wii U version, as this unfortunately has been patched on the Switch, needing to play as Peach as you need to use her light-weightedness. To do this, you need to pull off the Cat Dive Momentum exploit on this specific platform, placing the Super Leaf in this spot so that you can transform into Tanuki form and use your glide to make it all the way to the tower. I won't lie, this does take a ton of practice, but if you're a speedrunner, this is a necessary technique to learn, as it can save you time, even if it's only just a few seconds. Next up is the absolutely massive Super Mario Odyssey Nintendo Switch entry, where there's an exploit you can use to not only skip one, but 2 boss fights during the darker side of the moons along Journey's End. This all has to do with the glide-on, shaking your controller, and catching air using the tornadoes while you're on said glide-on, as if you get high enough in the air, that you can make it past the Bowser painting, skipping a relatively large portion. Now, apparently they patched this so you're forced out of the glide-on around where the Bowser painting is, but if you do go far enough to the left, then you can bypass this wall and make it behind to the wire if you are skillful enough. Also, be in assist mode, as you will die a few times and you'll just bubble back to where the glide-on spawns, so that is really helpful. Alright, that's gonna be it for today's video, guys. I really hope you did enjoy this one. If you did, please leave a like, comment below what you thought about it, and of course subscribe to my channel. I really hope you all did enjoy this, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!